Sup, epic humans. Welcome to the winning run of soloing Blood Moon Rising. And in this post-commentary of gameplay, I will inform you peeps on my channel overview, my persona, and some important info about this challenge. Timestamps are going to be in the description. Now, I am aware that a good portion of my viewers might not know Overwatch, and it's for obvious reasons. And that is because I hardly feature it. But if you will look closely, you know, my Minecraft skin in one of my High Noon videos, you can see I do actually enjoy it, and there's a little history with me in Overwatch. It's been over like a 5-year span when I got it back in December 2016, and I have mained many characters. Some of you might be disappointed that I shifted from McCree to Doomfist, but, you know, some of the Doom YouTubers would be upset about me with that. I don't know. Anyways. And I do have a revolver, but anyways. But I have changed to Doomfist back in January because of my change in persona. Now, to inform you on my persona, before I talk about that, I'm just going to talk about the strategy a little bit. Yeah, the best way to beat the enforcers is just to hide inside and then, you know, back up accordingly. I know carrier did, I'm not going to talk about carrier just yet. But as you can see, you can use all different types of objects like the lamppost and the walls. And then even that, do it up there. It's actually super fun to shoot them first and then go for the uppercut. And I appreciate that strategy quite a lot. And then, you know, using the fist to get around to even hit stuff. But that's going to be the strategy for, like, the next 2 waves until I get on to the one with a main parking lot or something. Anyway, it's easy to travel just like that. Okay. My persona involves charge attacks in various gaming franchises. So, like, if there's, like, a charge attack that's really cool in, like, a video game, I will definitely be interested in that video game. And, you know, that's the best way to get me into a video game, you know. You're introducing me to one. But anyways, with its sole power to unleash deadly attacks right out of comfort. And you can see me doing that a lot in this run. Like, you know, I'm using, like, I use the wall, they can't hit me. I hide behind the wall just like that, and then boom, I can hit them. You know, I have to avoid the damage easily. And this, and Doomfist is exactly that with his punch ability. Although I have not optimized it to the fullest, but I sort of did it in this challenge anyway. And I do enjoy using his other abilities as well. Yeah, I still miss when I'm using an Xbox controller. Yeah, you PC users, I'm playing on PC right now. I switched over to PC because someone asked me to. Don't get into the details on why. But PC did help me fix the challenge a bit. But I'm not going to switch to computer and mouse. I did that like one time, and I'm like, yeah, no. I'm too used to controller. I'm not switching off it. Although people are going to like... Yeah, I do hear, like, sometimes when I'm playing with people, they do tell me, they do make fun of controllers or console players, and I'm like, I just feel so awkward just sitting over there wondering why they make fun of it. No, they make fun of it for good reason, but, you know, it's just a bit awkward when I'm the one using a controller on my PC, which is super easy. I just have a cord controller and I just hook it up to my laptop, and it works so smoothly with this game, and it's super dope. And yeah, y'all can laugh at me, but to be honest, I'm too used to using it, so I'm not going to switch over to a mouse. So anyways, I have not been a Doom main for that long, but he makes Overwatch one of my favorite games, and them being the most fun character, although I do enjoy a lot of the other characters. They're all really enjoyable to use. And I would say, although there are times when I play Sombra, Tracer, and Symmetra, and most importantly, Soldier 76 with the Sergeant Bob and attitude. Those are also some fun damage heroes I love to play. Yeah, I just gotta play all of them. I'm not just doing one trick like some of the people I'm subscribed to. And I am willing to do this challenge with those heroes as well. If peeps are interested. I should solo this mode more. You know, I even thought of some Doom variant challenges, like I can do this without the ultimate, do this without the rocket. I'm just kidding. I'm always using rocket punch. Do this with only abilities. Some along those lines. You know, if you're interested. I'm going to do it regardless, probably in like the next span of 10 years or something. I don't know. So, moving on. Other Archives events, like the Retribution, is more inaccurate with certain areas not existing on the original map. So it's easier to do Storm Rising. I mean, already you should know that Retribution is, like, impossible. Like, I'm not going to do Retribution, because their challenges do not involve, like, self-healing, so you need to get some support heroes. And yeah, maybe I could do it if I would get someone to support me, but not as enjoyable. Now, I think it's time to show why I love Doomfist. and Howie is my persona. Doomfist slam and uppercut combo are quite the fun abilities to use, and use them with the gun. And it makes it way more diverse than just shooting to get kills. And, you know, I'm coming from being a McCree main. It's way more, yeah, so it's way more fun to kill people with multiple mini-attacks that make up a combo. And you peeps obviously know I play mini games, so that's why I haven't fully or even came close to mastering Doomfist. Now, if you remember my streams that I had, and I was doing this challenge, this is actually very important. The computer variant versus the Xbox one I was doing, the difference relies on the fact that there's these borders that can't help me enter the distillery. So I had to change up my strategy in order to beat the 4 Reapers. And if you remember, my stream fails was mostly from this wave right here. And that's mainly because I was trying to take on the entire, like, 4 Reapers all at once. And it just didn't work out. So, and I couldn't even enter that distillery to do that, which is technically cheating. In the original Storm Rising, you technically can't do that, so it makes sense that it was barricaded once I switched over to PC. And yeah, modifying the settings was way easier on PC. Because, you know, you get to use the mouse. You get to use both. I wonder if you can use the mouse on Xbox or console. Then, you know, you can't make fun of console players anymore. It's all about what controller they're using, or computer mouse. They don't have one universal term, which is pretty funny. You know, I also, as you can see, I also modified the payload speed, because there's really no point in waiting, like, an extra amount of time to get it through. But in this particular wave, the heavy, well, the heavy always spawns, but since I couldn't enter the distillery, I had to let that entire wave, if you remember the wave, I had to modify it where I put in the snipers with the heavy assault. And I'd usually just take them on right after I take on that, the I don't know, the 4 Reaper wave is what I'm going to call it. But this time, since I couldn't enter, I had to spawn in all the stuff in the secure to the Sterling wave. But I quickly figured out how to take that down. As you can see, you go after the sniper. And then after that, since all the troops are all over there, it's super easy just to take on the heavy right now. Because the heavy ain't going to leave this area. He's just going to have some fun. And, you know, I'm going to put on some super dope heavy music right up down now. Just because that's when the battle starts. Oh, I can't really imitate it too well. I don't even know the notes to it, but that's not the important part. Now, the heavy strategy is super simple. Just, you gotta hide, or else you're gonna die. You can't use the punch after it charges, or it will wake up from its charge, its stun state. And, you know, I mean, that's, like, the only mistake I make. Actually, no, there's, like, 2 of them against the heavy. Oh, yeah, there it is, right there. I was, like, terrified. I thought I lost there. I thought he pinned me down. But, you know, it turns out I got him right in the chin. I made him take it on the chin, if you know what I'm saying. That is super dope. And obviously, yeah, you gotta use the gun. But, you know, it's gonna be super fun if I do this with no abilities. And you see me fighting off the heavy. And I gotta, like, figure out, like, ways to do all the damage. Which is mostly just slam uppercut I'm gonna have to do. Because there's no way to punch, because I can't make the heavy collide with the wall. Although it's weird, because the heavy can still charge off the cliff. But then again, you know, I guess you just can't move the heavy. So that's the obvious part. But, you know, they didn't barricade the heavy. Now, luckily, the 2 final heavies, through my practice, sometimes they would charge off the cliff, and I would only have 1 to fight. But in this run, it's literally practically the perfect run, because no heavies charged off the cliff, no workshop errors, no nothing. I made all my decisions perfectly, so that's why it went so smoothly up until this entire fight. Yeah, and I did have to recreate some strategies once I switched over to PC. But as you can see, you gotta use the punch to get out. There's no point. You can just get easy shields and easy damage when you use the stuff in their proper spots. So anyways, I should get back to Doomfist. Now, I should say, of course, the main reason I started main Doomfist is because of his beautiful looking gauntlet and its rocket punch. Pro Doomfist players have taught me how to slide off objects in order to get to greater heights, to slam people hard without using the uppercut, to wait 6 seconds. And that was the thing I used to do to try to get the slam down. there's just so many combinations you can use, but, you know, it's definitely good if you ever want to go for the slam uppercut combo. Every Doomfist main will tell you, you should use the rocket punch to get up to the spots, because actually, the rocket punch can get you higher than the uppercut, which, there's a bit of irony to that, and I'm sure every Doomfist main has realized that. I think it's pretty funny. So I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah, and I'm not the best at landing this rocket punch. I'm assuming it's because of the controller. Every PC player will tell me that. Or just mouse user, I should say. But there are times when I can land the punch, and I definitely landed the punch a lot here because, you know, a lot of the guys are super still. And then there's the last Reaper over here. You know, every time I fight this wave, it's always a bit different because of the new variant of adding the heavy and the sniper. You know, I guess that just adds more challenge when you combine everything into... It's more of an ideal PvE event, where just everything's coming at you at once, and you just have to figure out ways to use the walls to take everything down. Yeah, it's super enjoyable for me. I would say this challenge was very fun. Yo, I had a really good breakfast, that's why I'm a bit gassy right now, but ignore that. So... But there are certain situations, just landing a weak punch can save my life. Especially against, like, a Reaper, and you're, like, right in front of a wall. It's definitely the best time to use that. Although, I don't think I used that much in this run. I used it more on the older runs where I failed a lot. Just to try to save me. I can assume it was against the old time when I fought that, I don't know what it called, driveway wave, I don't... Anyways, we're already past that, so I really should talk about it more. And it's also nice to get quickly punched to get killed, confirms, if I keep missing my shots. And there are times when that happened, especially in my fail montage. The memories, man. Okay, so throughout this game, I will be using the walls for damage and coverage. And I would say it's impossible to win this challenge without the walls. And without just certain areas being super convenient for damage, I would say. So I would say every ability is great when being used to the wall, as they can be unleashed when popped out of cover. The hand cannon especially, because I can do about like 520 total damage if I land perfect headshots on forcers or heavies. And as you can see, I do enjoy using Doomfist in this challenge, with him being able to burst damage really easily behind a wall, between his rocket punch and his hand cannon. But of course, that's not all his abilities are useful for, as running into cover, as I explained, is necessary to survive. My fail montages, you know, I'm gonna bring them up quite a bit, because, you know, they're very important. It will prove my point. So I would say it's always the right... It is very important to get into the right position to counterattack. And this spot right over here that I'm talking about, that I'm at right now, is a very good position. I use it quite a bit against most of the later waves. But hey, there are times when I have to switch it up, and I kind of do that. Because in the final waves, those are definitely times where I have to... The Reapers are not willing to follow me, which is not correct, because in the original Storm Rising, they do follow you, and then you can use that to your advantage. Although they follow you a little too much. Sometimes, you know, these AI are a bit different for obvious reasons, because there are times when the AI will just stand there. There are times when the AI will glitch into a single spot. But in the original Storm Rising, that usually never happens, I would say. Another reason I love Doomfist so much is the fact that I don't need to hold down one button to get the max damage. All the other characters I already said I'd love to do this challenge on, because usually you hold down primary fire to win, and that's the case with Sombra, Tracer, Symmetra, Pharah. But their primary fire is like the main way they deal damage. Soldier 76 is a bit different. I mean, even Reaper, if I ever want to do this challenge with Reaper, that would definitely just be holding down M1. And, you know, at this point I'm just talking about the heroes, but it's not viable to do this challenge. But with Doomfist, as I said, pressing a combination of buttons to secure kills makes a really fun skill level to try and learn. Now, I've stated this, but, you know, it's time to talk more about the fact that this is not the original challenge. and as I must heavily thank the workshop creators for creating the rules and settings to play this. And obviously, it was not intended to play solo or with a close-ranged hero. So, I'm really thinking Reaper will be even harder to beat this challenge with, but who knows. Maybe I tried a couple of times Reaper in my off spare time, and I failed pretty easily. I definitely need some practice with that. Now, I will leave a link in the description below of the actual Archives game mode of the other guy who beat this challenge, Carrier, who did this in 55 minutes. I did it in about 45, so it was about 10 minutes less. I'd call it a speedrun, but technically, maybe I could do it faster. But the main reason I say this is different from his run is because, first of all, it's the workshop, and second of all, I'm trying to go faster than him. Technically, it isn't fair, because, you know, the heavies are harder to kill, I would say, in the Storm Rising. Jeez. I had a really good lunch, okay? So anyways, he was the one who inspired me to complete this challenge, and unfortunately, back in April, no one was willing to do this challenge for me. No one was able to queue up with me to solo this challenge, and that is a bit saddening, but it didn't hurt me too much. I knew there was a solution. I even participated in some of Carrier's streams, asked him what he was doing, and he had like 4 alternative accounts that he used, which would be dope. I already have like a couple. Well, I don't have any alternative accounts, but I can use the Xbox and my PC. I can find a way, but right now I don't have that way yet. So workshop was the only way. Now I should describe the differences between the workshop and the archives in the mode, and you'll see. Oh, dang! It's a multi-kill. That's definitely one of my favorite scenes of this run. Anyways, when I get that slam, and I just keep killing. But anyways, I'm getting a little off topic. So, first of all, this is very important. I had to adjust certain enemies to proper spots because in this workshop original version, I would say to spawn troopers, enforcers during heavies, snipers, and it would spawn too many troopers, enforcers during the heavies, snipers, and assassins. Now we call them special units, if you weren't unaware. So I will be referring to them as special units because they have special abilities that make them super strong. But where was I? And this would ultimately cause the server to crash when it would spawn like too many. I'm talking like it would spawn like 30 enemies in the map at once. And at that point, if you press select or something to view everything, you'd see that every icon picture is super small, and because there's just too many entities to fit on the enemy team. And the thing about the original version is it would not. I think it would spawn like a fixed amount. Like if there's like a heavy assault that you haven't tanked down yet, it'd spawn like 3 or 4 or 5. I'm not gonna count. And then it would stay like that. Before I talk about that, you see how I got stunned right there? I would say that was the assassin, but technically the assassin just spawned in, and the assassin's a little janky on this version, and also right there, I had to get the assassin because sometimes it will break. So what you do is I just punch him once, and then he will resume his proper AI. I didn't want to cheat by doing extra damage because I could have done that, but no, I gotta beat him the normal way, and this is exactly the normal way, I would say. Now when he, no, I'm not gonna talk about that. Anyways, both assassins go really well, except for that one bit you saw when I got stunned. But technically, whenever the assassin spawns in, it never usually goes on you anyway. It's just the properties of the workshop assassin. Like if you ever get close to it, you can't get close. You can get close to it in the original, but you can't get close to it in this version, I would say. Because you get stunned, and then you have to press B. You can get out of it, but I would say that's cheating. So, if I got caught by the assassin in this version, I will have to restart. And I never got caught, so I'm proud of it because I don't think I invented this strategy, but the strategy was really good and it worked really well, and I was able to pull off the goods. Now we gotta talk about why the server was spawning too many bots, and I'd say this was because there was an Autobot with the settings that would spawn them rapidly until the specials were killed. Now, those are the same properties as the original, except the Ana would go haywire on the spawns and eventually crashing the server, so it basically makes this game mode impossible. And now you can see why I reworked the settings to spawn the specials at different times. So I wouldn't have to... Now, the only time the Ana spawn bot would exist is once you get the payload in right up at the security part. And then the other time it would happen, like, when... Okay. So whenever you bring up the payload to the end part of the distillery, that's when it would spawn in the Ana bot. And then another time is when you get to the end of the map. That's the only time the Ana bots will spawn. So every time you see a special, it will be spawning in when the payload is, like, in a middle spot and when the Ana bot is gone. And if you see it throughout my missions of playing Select, you would understand. So, you can see why I reworked the settings to... Oh, I already said that. Now I should actually compare the talent units. The troopers are more annoying in Workshop for moving more and landing their shots way more frequently. I mean, like, I've seen a couple of clips of just the troopers missing and moving a bit more slow and just kind of standing still. In the Storm Rising original. So, I would say they are weaker. I don't know about head sizes, but I think landing headshots on Baptiste is a bit more difficult, so... I don't know, I would hope Carrier would compare these two, just to inform me if I'm right or wrong or not. Anyways, Enforcers in Workshop were also way more difficult, with having no charge sound, faster stocks, and on top of that, they also fired at further ranges. Because Enforcers in the original, they would actually run towards you before actually firing. And it's really annoying because the freaking... If you can't use a charge cue sound, you never know when they're going to shoot. And I believe they have to charge once they see you. While in this version, the Reapers... Well, I should call them in the fort Reaper Enforcers anyways. As soon as they shoot at random times, I would say. And there are times, if you see my fail montages, I'd like jump in the way of them, and then they would just shoot when I'm on super low health and I get. And I would die. Super frustrating. I'm super happy that this was the run where I won. And let's talk about the snipers now. The snipers were harder in Workshop as well because their pistol was replaced with Widowmaker's full auto gun, which deals a ton of more DPS. And if you remember me playing a couple of the snipers, you would see that they switch into full auto mode, which deals a ton of more DPS. And yeah, my fail montages again were able to show that that damage was a lot compared to the pistol. Hold on. Also, there was no audio cues to her gun, and the grappling hook worked better than the original. Although I would say that's more of a plus, because they would move more in predictable spots, and you will know where to counterattack. When they just grappling hook to random locations, they could go to, like, farther spots, in more open spots, so, like, when I have to deal with all the snipers at once, it's really hard to counter them when, you can get shot from two different people, and you lose your health within, like, 2 seconds of your lifespan for going out there just to try to kill them. So it's definitely it's definitely harder to deal with Widowmakers that go with more random locations when they grappling hook. And yeah, they would even snipe me like in secret spots that I couldn't find. And even without my glasses, it just doesn't make a difference. There is like legitimately no way that it's easier when the snipers can use different locations and even hide in the bushes. There was one run where they legitimately hid in the bushes, and I like didn't know where they were until they like sniped me from across the map. Of course, I always say like across the map, but like across the arena we were fighting in. So that's enough about those. Now the assassins in Workshop are also harder with the improper audio cues, and they also have faster jump rates. You'll see me bolting to the higher ground. Now, I mean by faster jump rates, I mean by right as it spawned in. I'm like, this wasn't even a problem on the Xbox. It was legitimately just on the PC version when I was playing, where I would freaking, like, as soon as the assassin would spawn, within like 2 seconds it would just jump on me, and I would die. So that's why you can see me bolting super fast every time I spawn an assassin. Now, sadly, I'm fighting a sniper here, which isn't too hard. I was able to kill her at a range. Now, let me inform you a little bit about the strategy I'm doing. As soon as I kill the final character, the assassin will spawn. So it's good I'm talking about assassins right now. And if I kill the guy at the right location, because I'm trying to get the angle so I can get back up top. So now the assassin spawns, so I pull right over there, like I just said. And now I can engage the assassin wherever it's coming from. And then I can beat it the same way I beat it. And now it came from there, which was perfect. Able to get my headshots, another headshot, and an uppercut. Now, when it spawns over there, you could punch it. Sometimes it will stick to that wall. But in the process of that, it will literally gain its ground and get on the same plane as you. Like, 1 second after you punch it, it will literally start running after you on top of the thing you're already on, and then it'll get you down. So that's why I wanted to punch it, and I did it through my testing, and it didn't work out. It was not smart. So now we can talk about what makes it actually harder. Oh, well, actually, that was just it. They come down faster, and they don't have the audio cues to show where they're running from. Although you still have the Genji footprints and the what's this called? The ultimate that he has. They also have the sound cues, so that can help as well. Now let's talk about the heavies, which are going to come right after these snipers. There's like 3 of them. Yeah, I just brought up how hard the snipers were. Now you get to see it in action. But I was actually relatively safe against those snipers. But I'll talk about the heavies soon. So right here, yeah, this is the basic way to take down a Reaper. You just slam uppercut, very easy to pull off. Punch them away so they deal less damage at range. And also, they have less chance to run to your side spot. And also, I love it when the fact that you can actually punch them through the payload. And then, you know, I can't really push the payload yet, although it would be fine. I guess I can push it up front. But then if I also want 3 snipers just to completely destroy me, then, yeah, sure, I should continue pushing that payload to get to the final wave. I technically could have done the final wave and then the heavies, but then I'd have a sniper shooting me, like, the entire time, and let's be honest, I don't want that. 2 Reapers, see, this is what I mean by about certain enemies not being able to cross this sort of area right over here. Isn't it like the seaport? Now I remember what it was called. And this is going to be like a foreshadowing strategy that I'm doing right here, where I'm shooting the Reapers, and then I punch right through there. It's quite the solid strategy, although it's a little more risky when you have to fight 4 for the final wave. But I was able to pull through, although they're both equally as risky, and you just have to be patient. I believe I did beat the 4 waves on one of my streams, and it was pretty late epic, I would say. So here's for the snipers, here's the strategy right here. You just go through there, and then you distract them. They make their little shot, and then you go through there. Although, usually when I do that strategy, it works a lot better. I was so relieved because I thought I got destroyed, but I didn't. I was so relieved when I was able to. Now you punch through here to get back over to the safe spot. And you can take down this first sniper right here.
Stay down.
Yeah, there's the grappling, where it just does it at random spots. Now, usually what I would do is I'd go over to my left, and I'd try to uppercut and then punch the person off. But that adds a whole new level of randomness to my strategy of winning. So I decided something different. We didn't really know what I truly wanted to do, so I figured maybe I should just try to punch, I guess, uppercut, which isn't much different. I guess it's a little less risky, because you do end up taking less damage if you're not out in the open getting targeted by 1 sniper. I believe I do go for the uppercut. Well, not this spot. Well, there it is. Me contemplating whether to do it or not. But I didn't want to, so I just went for this uppercut. Moves over there, which is actually really good. I didn't realize it at the time, but what I could do through that... Stop freaking being wuss. So now I can shoot her through that thing. And literally, none of the snipers can hit me now. And there's where the true safety comes in. So now I'm basically done with the snipers. Let's talk about the heavy assaults. Them ficklers, I would say. The heavy was totally harder than the original. You know, in the original. As they do charge less. And, you know, that was ultimately my saving grace when it came to the heavy strategy that I'm about to use. So first I have to take down the sniper, but we're talking about the heavies. And if something else you didn't realize is that Carrier, of course, had to deal with a ton of spawns during his heavy fights. I did not have to deal with that. I just had to make the proper decisions. So here the heavies are going to spawn in. It's actually a pretty sick spawn. but right here, as soon as they come in, you can shoot them. I guess they take their own path anyway. But those spawns can be viewed as like ult charge or health refills. Technically, the health. I would say the heavies are easier to farm off in this version, which is probably the. If there is ever going to tell me which is harder, it's obviously going to be his version, mainly because the freaking heavies in this version are easier to manage. Although I've never really fought them solo before, I'd love to do that if I could. But for now, I have to. I trained really hard for this one. Who knows? Maybe these skills can help me beat the real version when it comes back in April. So, and by the way, I need to. So that was the main reason, because since they charge less, or they charge in they charge in more random locations, and here they just charge whenever they want. Maybe like in more longer ranges, so the heavy gets closer to you. That's pretty cool. The workshop version, they just charge whenever, and I can do this, the slam, punch, uppercut back up to the high ground. That was my favorite way to take him down. It's probably the best way to do it. Against the heavies, for abilities only, if I ever want to do that. This would be one fun one. Now, we need to talk about the fact that since they spawn in the original, when it comes to the workshop, and how I had to adjust so the game wouldn't crash with overlooted spawns, I would say that I tried to enable less spawns for the workshop by adjusting that monobot, but I couldn't really find the proper setting, and this was like back in May or something. I just couldn't find it, and either in the computer version or the console version. And trust me on this, I actually did reach out to YouTubers to try to help me fix this setting. Like I joined like a Overwatch Discord about workshop, and they couldn't help me. It's a bit sad. I did talk to them. And I also tried like watching YouTube videos on how to learn about workshop, and that didn't help either. I even tried deleting the honors. They wouldn't be deleted. So ultimately, the best way was just to get rid of spawns entirely, because honestly, it's practically the same principle, except just less distraction, I'd say. I'm like, oh no, I have to do a free first while trying to shoot heavies. I think I can if I just run away enough. So, I'd say, overall, it is an important factor to understand, is in the original, the spawns are more random. And it can be, and I'm talking about the game mode as a whole. When it comes to spawns, they're a lot more random. So it's really hard to make the same strategy work when you keep reattempting a challenge like this. While on the workshop, it's pretty obvious that, you know, the same things are coming after you. You just have to practice it over and over, and you'll eventually get it down, beat it, and run. One run is like the most fun way, because it definitely helps you optimize and not be careless. Like, that's how I did this. I learned a lot of lessons against these double heavies, how frustrating they can be. I'm so glad they didn't charge off the cliff, making this gun, sorry, the run invalid, I would say. So, but in exchange for the workshop, all of the units would spawn at once, without them flying in from the talon planes, which is very important, because when the talon planes fly in, you can get the right position to start fighting all the talon units. But in this version, they just spawn from the sky, and they can shoot right away too. And if you remember, like my first time doing this challenge, I don't even know if I was on stream or not, but I would die instantly to it. I'm like, oh crap, how am I supposed to get past this wave if they shoot me instantly? I did figure out that you just had to punch away from the payload, and that's how you would survive that aspect. But before, it actually really confused me on how I was supposed to beat this. Let's see. So, let's talk a little more about Carrier. I also noticed Carrier did less health, got healed less for his DPS. And yeah, if you want to watch that, you can. I believe, I was looking at it, and he was like doing a lot more damage and less healing. So I was a bit concerned about that. But I do promise, if you compare my stream healing, my healing in this video, it is like legitimately exactly the same. I never touched it. But we could lower it if you guys are really upset about it. But I would say it really didn't change that this much, because I would still die in 2 seconds to a double heavy shot, so Really, getting extra healing doesn't really mean much, just in case you guys want to point that out. Because the sole way to win this type of challenge is to make the proper decisions and time your abilities right, your ultimate right, and that is the ultimate way to make sure you can deal enough damage, all your damage to take down all of the units. And fighting one heavy is honestly super easy. Just use your walls efficiently. You can even like distort him a little bit and bully him, which is super fun. So with these reasons, I feel both Workshop and the original are balanced in terms of difficulty. Okay, moving on. And as y'all know, I'm a heavy YouTube fanboy. And what that means is I watch a lot of YouTube. Like, there's a lot in my watch later a lot of the time. Because I'm subscribed to a lot of people, turn on notifications. Yeah, I'm pretty loyal to many of the YouTubers I'm subscribed to. And I enjoy their content a lot, because every time, it's not just the same content, it's usually different content. They actually know how to title their stuff, and I really do enjoy it. And after that, I also recently subscribed to five doomfist YouTubers. And I've been learning some epic rollouts from them. And I would even might make a YouTube rollout, not compilation per se, but like rollouts for like a specific map for every game. So doomfist can improve, I would say. But I would say the rollouts and the bounces are not really that useful in this challenge. For obvious reasons. If you're about to freaking seismic slam 4 Reapers, you're gonna die. It's the same as if you use the ultimate. The ultimate's actually really good because they hardly move. I mean, only the troopers move. That's the main thing. We can talk about... Because if you do realize, if you're all above the troops, you will realize that being above them, they still have aim block, and they're still gonna murder you no matter what altitude. It's all about distance, truly. Unless it's the trooper, and then I believe they just do the same amount of damage no matter what happens. Moving on. So, wrapping this up. I should inform you people what I want to become on YouTube. And the answer is, what I do is, I do gamer challenges, memes, and I kind of want to do some collabs, like you saw me do some other collabs before. Maybe like 2 so far on my own channel. But that's not all I'm going to do. I feel like starting a Discord, so I can communicate with you people, discuss video ideas, share and judge some edits. Like, you know, if I'm making another one of those Thug Life compilations, I can definitely get you guys feedback on it before it becomes legit. And we can also, like, if you guys want to see a certain thing, I can definitely do that. I'll be talking to you guys. And, yeah, we're going to have some voice channels, and we can actually play multiplayer games today together. And did I tell you guys that Attack on Titan Tribute Game 2 is going to come out soon? And then we would, you know, I'll play, like, a big server if you guys are up for it. I'm definitely down. You can definitely learn, and I can review that game. You know, I'll be stoked. Definitely include my Discord link for that one. If you peeps want me to help me out in video creation, I'm okay with that. And then you can submit clips if you want to improve the video in any way. You can show me how to do certain edits and things. Not the best editor, but you know, there are times when my editing could definitely be improved. How close are we? Is this the second? I think this is the first wave of 4 Reapers. The second wave is just the same thing. I wouldn't think you guys think I'm like lying to you. I can definitely cut it out if I need to. Let's see. Now, if you do submit your own video clips, I will, in fact, give you guys a shout out. But when it comes to challenges, now you guys know that I do challenges. And this is one of the challenges where you just have to solo. Usually you do it with 4 people. I actually got a group to do it with me, and that was quite fun. But I would say that it was too easy. Although they did crash the server once, it was pretty dumb. And I had to inform them that they should not jump on the payload that's moving 500 speed and it's going to spawn in all the waves. And like, I thought it was pretty funny, so I had to create some, like a version of it where I can do the final waves. And that's exactly how I practiced all this stuff. This is pretty epic. So here's the second wave of 4 Reapers. And they are just the same thing. Except, I don't know, maybe the troopers are a little bit more annoying here. Because they do end up running behind me and dealing damage, and forcing me to use my ultimate. And that like, legitimately intimidated me. Because losing on the final wave probably hurts the most. And the wave after this is supposed to be a wave with like 2 Reapers. And the obvious reason is because the snipers are supposed to be spawned. But I already beat the snipers, so there we go. They forced my ultimate out of my hand. Take down one of them troops. The troops can be super disorienting and distracting in this version. I don't remember them being super annoying in the other version. And I think I already covered that. So, let's get back to the challenges. It's not just gamer challenges, I can also do, like, in real life challenges. Some challenges I've been thinking about is definitely I can stand off that Carolina Reaper challenge back in April, where certain challenges I might think of is, I don't know if I'm comfortable sharing them. It's something along the lines of drinking water and then eating. But, you know, I need to beat the actual challenge before I can actually drink water and then eat it. Yes, it's going to kill my tongue, but that's the point. It's a challenge, you must do it. And I enjoy doing those challenges, no matter how hard I suffer. It's all worth it, not just for the views, but also for the experience. It's amazing. That dude just wouldn't die, so I had to use my ultimate. Maybe some nerf challenges as well. Like, you guys have seen me use nerf guns before, and I got some really cool nerf guns from this year, I would say. I even got my favorite nerf gun. This is dope, I would say. And some nerf challenges I'm thinking about is doing like a 360. I have a really cool target that could work really well with some 360s, I would say. Any other nerf challenges, I don't know. I'll definitely think of something like when I'm doing stuff. But I would say you'd be plenty surprised about what content comes to me. So stay tuned. And is there anything else I want to cover? Just want to let you guys know before this video ends. I hope you enjoyed the post commentary that I spent a while writing. Anyways, right here, it won't give me the victory. It gave me the victory on Xbox when I practiced, but this is actually the first time I won. Who cares? I was super nervous, but that's not the point. The point is, you can't really win. So, boom, boom. It's a world record.